Shalom, my friends. I'm Rabbi David, and today I'm going to answer one of the most frustrating questions in the world of wealth. Why do the rich get richer while everyone else struggles? Why does money flow to those who already have it? Why does wealth multiply for some people and evaporate for others? And by the end of this video, you will understand the simple principle that explains everything. And more importantly, you will know how to apply this principle in your own life, so you can start getting richer instead of staying stuck. But before I reveal the answer, I need to ask you something. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you feel like you're working hard but not getting ahead? Do you feel like the system is rigged against you? Tell me in the comments, because I want to know where you are right now. Now, before we dive deep into this teaching, I need your help with something important. I'm on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers, so I can spread this timeless wisdom about wealth, faith, and legacy to even more people. If you believe this wisdom deserves to be shared, if you believe these ancient secrets can transform lives, then please hit that subscribe button right now and join this growing community of modern thinkers and future millionaires. And if you want to go deeper, if you're serious about transformation, become a channel member. You'll get exclusive content that I don't share publicly, early access to every video, and inner circle teachings reserved for those who are truly committed. The link is right below this video. All right, let's get into it. Here's the simple answer to why the rich get richer. Are you ready? It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they work harder. It's not because they're lucky. It's not because the system is rigged. It's not because they have connections. The rich get richer because they understand and apply one simple principle: the principle of multiplication. Let me explain what I mean. Poor people think in terms of addition. Rich people think in terms of multiplication. Poor people ask, how can I add more income? Rich people ask, how can I multiply my resources? Poor people focus on earning. Rich people focus on multiplying. And here's the key. Addition is linear. Multiplication is exponential. Addition grows slowly. Multiplication grows explosively. Addition takes forever. Multiplication creates wealth rapidly. Let me show you this principle in the Torah. In the book of Genesis, when Jacob worked for Laban, he was paid in sheep and goats. But Jacob didn't just collect his wages and save them. He multiplied them. He used selective breeding, strategic timing, and intelligent systems to multiply his flocks. And in 6 years, Jacob went from having nothing to being extremely wealthy, not through addition, through multiplication. In the book of Proverbs, King Solomon, the wealthiest man in history, says this: "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." Notice he doesn't say hard work leads to profit. He says the plans of the diligent. Planning is about multiplication. Hard work without multiplication is just addition, and addition keeps you poor. In the parable of the talents in the Torah, 3 servants are given money. 2 of them multiply it, 1 of them buries it. The 2 who multiplied it are rewarded. The one who buried it loses everything. The lesson? God rewards multiplication, not preservation. God rewards growth, not safety. God rewards those who multiply, not those who hoard. This is the fundamental difference between the rich and everyone else. The rich multiply. Everyone else adds. The rich create systems that multiply their time, their money, their impact. Everyone else trades time for money, and time for money is addition. Systems that multiply resources is multiplication. Let me break down the 5 ways the rich multiply while everyone else adds. Way number 1. The rich multiply their time. Poor people trade time for money. 1 hour of work equals 1 hour of pay. If they want to make more money, they work more hours. This is addition. And addition has a limit. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can't add more time, so your income is capped. But rich people multiply their time. They build systems, hire people, create automation, leverage technology. 1 hour of their time creates 10 hours of output. 1 hour of their time generates 100 hours of value. This is multiplication, and multiplication has no limit. In the Talmud, there's a teaching that says, hire workers to do the work while you focus on the vision. This is multiplication. You're not doing all the work yourself. You're multiplying your capacity through other people. When I was working as an accountant, I was trading time for money. I could only work so many hours. My income was capped. But when I started my business, I hired people. I built systems. I created automation. Now, 1 hour of my time creates value far beyond what I could do alone. I multiplied my time, and my income multiplied. Way number 2. The rich multiply their money. Poor people save money. They put it in a savings account earning 1% interest. This is addition, and inflation eats it away faster than it grows. But rich people invest money. They put it in assets that appreciate, businesses that grow, opportunities that multiply. They don't just save, they multiply. They don't just preserve, they grow. In Proverbs, King Solomon says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again." This is investment. This is multiplication. You're not hoarding your bread, you're casting it out, trusting it will multiply and return to you. When I started making money, I didn't just save it, I invested it. In real estate, in businesses, in opportunities, and those investments multiplied. $1 invested became $2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8. This is how the rich get richer. They multiply their money. Way number 3. The rich multiply their knowledge. Poor people learn once and stop. They get a degree, get a job, and never invest in learning again. This is addition. They add one skill and stop growing. But rich people learn continuously. They read books, they take courses, they hire coaches, they attend seminars. They're constantly multiplying their knowledge. And as their knowledge multiplies, their value multiplies. And as their value multiplies, their income multiplies. In Proverbs it says, "Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Get wisdom, get understanding. Though it cost all you have, get understanding." This is multiplication. The more wisdom you gain, the more value you create. The more value you create, the more wealth you attract. I read at least one book per week. I invest tens of thousands of dollars every year in courses, coaching, and conferences. Why? Because I'm multiplying my knowledge. And multiplied knowledge creates multiplied results. Way number 4. The rich multiply their relationships. Poor people have a small circle. They know a few people. They stay in their comfort zone. They don't network. They don't build relationships. This is addition. A small circle creates small opportunities. But rich people build networks. They connect with successful people. They add value to others. They build genuine relationships. And those relationships multiply their opportunities, their resources, their influence. In Ecclesiastes, King Solomon says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." This is multiplication. One person plus one person doesn't equal two. It equals exponential growth, because relationships create leverage. Every major opportunity in my life came through a relationship. Every major deal, every major partnership, every major breakthrough. Not through my effort alone, through multiplied relationships. Way number 5. The rich multiply their impact. Poor people focus on themselves. What can I get? How can I benefit? What's in it for me? This is addition. You're only focused on adding to yourself. But rich people focus on others. How can I serve? How can I add value? How can I solve problems? And when you multiply your impact, when you serve more people, when you solve bigger problems, wealth flows to you automatically. In the Torah, when Abraham was called by God, God said, "I will bless you, and you will be a blessing." Notice the order. You are blessed so you can be a blessing. You receive so you can give. You multiply so you can multiply others. And when you multiply your impact, your wealth multiplies. The richest people in the world are those who serve the most people. They don't just think about themselves. They think about how they can multiply their impact. And as their impact multiplies, their wealth multiplies. These are the 5 ways the rich multiply. Time, money, knowledge, relationships, impact. And when you shift from addition thinking to multiplication thinking, everything changes. Let me tell you 3 stories of people who shifted from addition to multiplication and watched their wealth explode. Story number 1. David. David was a freelance graphic designer. He was talented, hardworking, dedicated. But he was stuck. He was trading time for money. He could only take on so many clients. He was working 60 hours a week and barely making ends meet. This is addition. I asked him, "David, how can you multiply instead of add?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Right now you're doing all the work yourself. 1 hour of your time equals 1 hour of output. How can you multiply your time?" He thought about it, and he realized he could hire other designers, he could build a team, he could take on bigger projects, he could serve more clients. He shifted from addition to multiplication. Within 6 months, he had a team of 5 designers. Within 1 year, he was running a design agency. Within 2 years, he was doing 7 figures. He multiplied his time, and his income multiplied. Story number 2. Sarah. Sarah was a real estate agent. She was successful, making good commissions, but she was stuck. She could only sell so many houses per year. She was working hard, but her income was capped. This is addition. I asked her, "Sarah, how can you multiply instead of add?" She said, "I don't know. I can only work so many hours." I said, "What if you didn't just sell houses? What if you invested in real estate? What if you bought properties, rented them out, and built passive income?" She shifted from addition to multiplication. She started buying rental properties, one property, then two, then 5, then 10. Now she has a portfolio of rental properties, generating passive income every month. She multiplied her money, and her wealth multiplied. Story number 3. Michael. Michael was a corporate executive making 6 figures. He was doing well by most standards, but he felt stuck. He was trading time for money. He had a salary cap. He couldn't grow beyond his position. This is addition. I asked him, "Michael, how can you multiply instead of add?" He said, "I'm not sure." I said, "What if you started a side business? What if you took your expertise and created a course, a coaching program, a consulting service? What if you multiplied your knowledge?" He shifted from addition to multiplication. He started a coaching business on the side. He created an online course. He built a consulting practice. Within 1 year, his side business was making more than his corporate salary. Within 2 years, he left his job and went full-time on his business. Within 3 years, he was doing 7 figures. He multiplied his knowledge, and his income multiplied. Do you see the pattern? They all shifted from addition to multiplication, and when they did, their wealth exploded. Now, let me give you a practical framework for shifting from addition to multiplication in your own life. Step 1. Identify where you're adding instead of multiplying. Look at your life. Where are you trading time for money? Where are you doing everything yourself? Where are you stuck in linear growth? Where are you thinking in terms of addition instead of multiplication? Identify it. Write it down. Be honest with yourself. Step 2. Ask the multiplication question. For every area where you're adding, ask this question. How can I multiply this instead of add to it? How can I create exponential growth instead of linear growth? How can I leverage systems, people, technology, or resources to multiply my results? If you're trading time for money, ask, how can I multiply my time? Can I hire people? Can I build a team? Can I create automation? Can I build systems? If you're saving money, ask, how can I multiply my money? Can I invest in real estate? Can I invest in businesses? Can I invest in assets that appreciate? If you're stuck in your knowledge, ask, how can I multiply my knowledge? Can I read more? Can I take courses? Can I hire a coach? Can I attend seminars? If you have a small network, ask, how can I multiply my relationships? Can I reach out to successful people? Can I add value to others? Can I build genuine connections? If you're focused only on yourself, ask, how can I multiply my impact? Can I serve more people? Can I solve bigger problems? Can I create more value? Step 3. Take one multiplication action this week. Don't try to multiply everything at once. Choose one area. Choose one multiplication action and take it this week. If you're going to multiply your time, hire your first assistant this week. If you're going to multiply your money, make your first investment this week. If you're going to multiply your knowledge, buy a book or enroll in a course this week. If you're going to multiply your relationships, reach out to one successful person this week. If you're going to multiply your impact, serve one person without expecting anything in return this week. One action, one multiplication step this week. Step 4. Commit to multiplication thinking for 90 days. For the next 90 days, every time you face a decision, ask yourself, is this addition or multiplication? Am I adding or multiplying? Am I thinking linearly or exponentially? And choose multiplication every single time. In 90 days, you will have completely rewired your brain. You will think like the rich, you will act like the rich, and you will start getting richer. Now, let me address the objections I know you're thinking. Objection number 1. I don't have the resources to multiply. You don't need a lot of resources to start multiplying. You just need to start. Jacob started with nothing and multiplied his flocks. You can start small and multiply. Hire one person part-time. Invest $100. Read one book. Reach out to one person. Start small, but start multiplying. Objection number 2. Multiplication is risky. Addition is riskier. Because addition keeps you stuck. Addition keeps you poor. Addition guarantees you'll never break through. Multiplication might feel risky, but it's the only path to wealth. And if you multiply intelligently, if you multiply strategically, the risk is manageable and the reward is massive. Objection number 3. I don't know how to multiply. That's why you're watching this video. That's why you're learning. That's why you're growing. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. Learn as you go. Make mistakes. Adjust. Improve. But start multiplying. Here's what I want you to do. In the comments below, tell me one area where you're going to shift from addition to multiplication. Tell me one multiplication action you're going to take this week. Declare it. Write it down. Make it public. Because when you declare it, you activate it. And if this video gave you the simple answer to why the rich get richer and how you can get richer too, subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to teach you the ancient Torah practice that multiplies everything you touch. Remember, the rich get richer because they multiply. They multiply their time. They multiply their money. They multiply their knowledge. They multiply their relationships. They multiply their impact. And when you shift from addition thinking to multiplication thinking, when you start multiplying instead of adding, you will get richer, guaranteed. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is a proven principle. This is how wealth works. This is how the rich get richer. And this is how you will get richer. Shalom. And may you be blessed with the wisdom to see where you're adding instead of multiplying, the courage to shift from linear thinking to exponential thinking, and the faith to take multiplication actions that will transform your financial future forever. But before you go, I need to tell you something that will make this principle even more powerful, something that will accelerate your multiplication, something that will help you avoid the mistakes most people make when they try to multiply. The secret is this: multiplication requires patience. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens through compound growth. And compound growth takes time. But when it kicks in, It's unstoppable. Let me explain what I mean. When you plant a seed, you don't see growth immediately. For days, for weeks, nothing visible happens. The seed is underground, developing roots, building a foundation. And if you dig it up to check on it, you kill it. But if you're patient, if you water it consistently, if you give it time, suddenly a sprout appears, and then it grows and grows and grows, and eventually it becomes a tree that produces fruit year after year. That's compound growth. That's multiplication. The same is true with wealth. When you start multiplying, you won't see massive results immediately. The first month, the first 3 months, even the first year, the growth might seem slow. But if you're patient, if you stay consistent, if you keep multiplying, compound growth kicks in. And when it does, your wealth explodes. In the Talmud, there's a teaching that says, the reward is according to the patience. Not according to the effort, according to the patience. Because multiplication requires time, it requires consistency, it requires patience. This is why most people quit. They start multiplying, they don't see immediate results, they get discouraged. They go back to addition, and they stay poor. But the rich understand patience. They understand compound growth. They understand that multiplication takes time. So they stay consistent. They stay patient. They keep multiplying. And eventually, the floodgates open. Let me give you the multiplication timeline so you know what to expect. Month 1 to 3, the foundation phase. In the first 3 months of multiplication, you're building the foundation. You're hiring your first person. You're making your first investment. You're reading your first books. You're building your first relationships. You're serving your first clients. The results won't be massive yet. You might even feel like you're going backward. You're spending money on hiring. You're spending time on learning. You're spending energy on relationships. This is normal. This is the foundation phase. Don't quit. Month 4 to 6, the momentum phase. In months 4 to 6, you start seeing momentum. The person you hired is producing results. The investment you made is growing. The knowledge you gained is creating opportunities. The relationships you built are opening doors. The impact you created is attracting abundance. The results are still not massive, but you can see progress. You can feel momentum. You can sense that something is working. This is the momentum phase. Keep going. Month 7 to 12, the breakthrough phase. In month 7 to 12, breakthrough happens. The multiplication kicks in. Your income doubles, your opportunities multiply, your impact expands, your wealth grows exponentially. This is the breakthrough phase. This is where the rich get richer. This is where compound growth explodes. And here's the key. If you quit in month 2, you'll never reach month 12. If you quit in the foundation phase, you'll never experience the breakthrough phase. Patience is the price of multiplication. Now let me give you the 3 biggest mistakes people make when trying to multiply. Mistake number 1. They try to multiply everything at once. They try to multiply their time, their money, their knowledge, their relationships, and their impact all at the same time. They get overwhelmed. They spread themselves too thin. They don't see results in any area, and they quit. The solution? Focus on one multiplication area at a time. Choose the area that will have the biggest impact on your life right now, and focus on multiplying that one area for 90 days. Master it. Then move to the next area. If you're trading time for money, focus on multiplying your time first. Hire people, build systems, automate. Once you've multiplied your time, then focus on multiplying your money, then your knowledge, then your relationships, then your impact. One at a time. Mistake number 2. They multiply without strategy. They hire people randomly. They invest in anything. They read any book. They network with anyone. They serve without focus. This is not multiplication. This is chaos. And chaos doesn't create wealth. Strategy creates wealth. The solution? Multiply strategically. Hire the right people. Invest in the right opportunities. Read the right books. Build the right relationships. Serve the right people. Quality over quantity. Strategy over activity. When I hire people, I don't just hire anyone. I hire people who multiply my strengths and compensate for my weaknesses. When I invest money, I don't invest in anything. I invest in opportunities that align with my vision and have proven track records. When I read books, I don't read randomly. I read books that solve specific problems I'm facing. Strategic multiplication creates exponential results. Mistake number 3. They multiply without faith. They try to multiply in their own strength. They rely on their own wisdom. They trust their own abilities. And when challenges come, when setbacks happen, when things don't work immediately, they quit because they're operating from human strength, not divine power. The solution? Multiply with faith. Trust God to guide you. Trust God to provide. Trust God to multiply your efforts. Pray before you hire. Pray before you invest. Pray before you make decisions. Invite God into your multiplication. Because when God multiplies, the results are supernatural. In the Torah, when the widow came to Elisha with nothing but a jar of oil, Elisha told her to gather empty jars and pour her oil into them. As she poured, the oil multiplied. 1 jar became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8. The oil didn't stop multiplying until she ran out of jars. This is supernatural multiplication. This is what happens when you invite God into your multiplication. Your efforts multiply beyond what's naturally possible. Your resources multiply beyond what makes sense. Your results multiply beyond what you can explain. So multiply with faith. Pray over your multiplication. Trust God to multiply your efforts. And watch as He does exceedingly abundantly beyond what you can ask or imagine. Let me also tell you what multiplication will cost you, because multiplication is not free. It requires sacrifice. It requires investment. It requires risk. Multiplication will cost you comfort. You'll have to step outside your comfort zone. You'll have to do things you've never done. You'll have to take risks you've avoided. You'll have to stretch beyond what feels safe. Multiplication will cost you time. You'll have to invest time in building systems. You'll have to invest time in learning. You'll have to invest time in relationships. You'll have to invest time in serving. Time you could spend on entertainment, on leisure, on comfort. Multiplication will cost you money. You'll have to invest money in hiring. You'll have to invest money in opportunities. You'll have to invest money in education. You'll have to invest money in growth. Money you could spend on yourself, on things, on consumption. But here's the truth. The cost of multiplication is nothing compared to the cost of addition. Addition costs you your future. Addition costs you your potential. Addition costs you your destiny. Addition keeps you poor forever. Multiplication might cost you comfort, time, and money in the short term, but it gives you freedom, wealth, and legacy in the long term. The rich understand this. That's why they're willing to pay the price of multiplication, and that's why they get richer. So here's my final challenge to you. For the next 90 days, commit to multiplication. Choose one area, time, money, knowledge, relationships, or impact, and multiply it. Strategically, patiently, with faith. Don't expect overnight results. Don't quit when it gets hard. Don't give up when you don't see immediate progress. Stay consistent, stay patient, stay faithful. And watch as compound growth kicks in. Watch as multiplication takes over. Watch as you start getting richer. Because the rich get richer not because they're special, not because they're lucky, not because the system favors them. The rich get richer because they understand and apply the principle of multiplication. And now you understand it too. The question is, will you apply it? Will you shift from addition to multiplication? Will you pay the price? Will you be patient? Will you have faith? If you will, if you commit, if you multiply for 90 days, I promise you, your financial life will never be the same. You will start getting richer, not through addition, through multiplication. In the comments below, tell me your commitment. Tell me which area you're going to multiply for the next 90 days. Tell me your one multiplication action. Declare it. Write it down. Make it public. And if this video revealed why the rich get richer and how you can get richer too, subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because this principle has the power to break poverty, to create wealth, to transform lives. Remember, the answer is simpler than you think. The rich get richer because they multiply. They don't add, they multiply. They don't think linearly, they think exponentially. They don't trade time for money. They build systems that multiply resources. And when you shift from addition to multiplication, when you start multiplying your time, your money, your knowledge, your relationships, your impact, you will get richer. Guaranteed. Not because I said so, but because this is how wealth works. This is a universal principle. This is a spiritual law. Shalom, my friends, and may you be blessed with the wisdom to understand multiplication, the strategy to apply multiplication, the patience to wait for compound growth, and the faith to trust that as you multiply, God will multiply your efforts beyond what you can imagine, and you will experience the same exponential wealth growth that the rich experience, not because you're special, but because you applied the simple principle that makes the rich get richer.